Before you watch this video, I just want to tell you, everything I say in this video does not diminish what men bring to the table. This video is not a bash on men's sports. This video is not a bash on anything. This video is about giving you more context about women and how women have been put in boxes for so long, and now you're finally starting to see what women can do. All of those things that you've always said about women, that we can't do, that we're emotional, that we're all these things, all of those things are actually being dispelled because we are actually showing on a large stage that we can be competitive, we can be into the game, we can talk trash, we can be all of these things. And at the end of the game, we can squash it, let it go, and still be functioning humans in society and not hold any grudges. So before you watch this video, take a deep breath. Don't take anything personal. If you take something personal, you need to ask yourself why you're taking it personal. But also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and comment below on this video because I would love to hear any thoughts that you have. One of the reasons why it's so hard for people to understand what's happening in women's sports and to actually find the words to explain what's happening in women's sports is because you don't understand women and you can't talk about something that you don't understand. And so the way that you try to understand women is to strip everything back. I've heard people say, okay, let's just talk about this even if they weren't women. Let's just talk about this if they weren't black or if she wasn't white or if she wasn't this. Here's the thing. These women are going out there and they're playing the game of basketball. You don't have to talk about them as if they're women. You don't have to talk about Reese as if she's a black woman. You don't have to talk about Caitlin Clark as she's a white woman. The second you start bringing in different dynamics into the conversation, that lets me know that your main issue and your main confusion about everything that's happening is that these are women and these women are getting views. These women have sparked interest. These women are doing what men do. And for some reason, because you cannot fathom that women do not fit in this perfect little box that a lot of people want to put us in, what is happening for some reason is so confusing to so many people. There's nothing happening here. What's happening is you have two women who were competing on the same stage at the same time and got 12 million views. That's what happened. People want to see competition. People like to see competition. I think it's very telling whenever we have national media who cannot explain what's actually going on here because you can't get past the fact that there are women. That to me signifies that you don't understand women and you don't understand that we can do things. Like, we're not going to always fit in this perfect little box. People say women are emotional. People say women are soft. People say women don't know how to compete. People say all of these things about women. And what you watched on Monday night are 4 teams that are full of women that go against every single stigma you've ever placed on women. They were going at it. They were competing. They were doing everything that you do in competition, everything we always see the men do. They were doing it over and over, hitting shots, trading the leads, going back and forth, getting on each other, guarding each other, being aggressive, being all the things that for some reason, some of you don't realize that is how women are. Just because you cannot understand that women are not what you think they are, doesn't mean that women don't have this amazing ability to be something bigger than what you think they can be. We have women right now that are in the Final Four for women's college basketball, and it is probably going to be watched more than men's basketball. I don't know that for a fact, but it probably is. And I think when you go down this conversation, you have to remember what's happening in the world. The thing that's happening for women that is really great thing that, in my personal opinion, has dramatically impacted women's ability to be marketable on these larger stages is the social media the social media era, the sponsorships, the collectives, things like that, because it's allowed women to really come out and shine. I also want to say, before we had these women, we had other women. Serena was doing this forever. I've heard a lot of people say, I don't even watch tennis, but when Serena was playing, I was watching tennis. Why? Because Serena was breaking down barriers. She was showing you that women can be just as aggressive, just as dominant, just as all the things that you give men, women can do those things. And I know that for some reason, a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that women are strong and powerful and we can do things just as well as men in a lot of different things when it comes to sports. We can hold audiences. We can do things. We can be competitive. We can talk trash. We can do all of those things as well. Now, women are not men. We're never going to be men. I got that. But one thing that we can do is we can compete. It's like women can have babies, for crying out loud. Like, women can actually have babies. Like, I know that's not breaking news, but women being able to have babies, like, take a second and think about how amazing it is that a human being can create another human being inside of them and then deliver that human being into the world. That is amazing. And then women have to figure out how to go through life, be okay with that, change their bodies, deal with all these hormones, deal with all these different things, being judged and being put in a box of how you're supposed to be. Even me, I am a woman on YouTube that is talking sports. Not as much anymore, but when I started with shorts. And when I started doing shorts and I had sports takes, some men in my comments and some people in my comments, quite frankly, were not happy with my sports takes because how dare me talk about sports? How dare me know what I'm talking about? How dare me go down this avenue that I'm not supposed to be in? For some reason, people, I don't want to say men because this isn't about men. This is about people. People should not be threatened by women's abilities. Women having the abilities to do great things and to be competitive and to hold audiences is only great for society because we're all growing and we're evolving. The problem that I am seeing with a lot of different takes is people are flabbergasted that women can go out there and be competitive and still, after it's all over, because we've been deemed as being so emotional on all these things, as soon as it's over, guess what? We can also go get in the lines and we can shake hands and we can love on each other and we can be supportive of each other because that's what you do when you play sports. It's not about being a woman, but for some reason, some people cannot see this past women competing. It's not about being a woman. It's about being an athlete. It's about being a competitor. It's about being the thing you have to be for the sport that you love. And we're so confused and shocked because you're looking at this through the lens of how you see women. A lot of people were tweeting on Monday night. They were even shocked that they were watching women play basketball. Why is that? Because they have conditioned themselves to believe that women playing basketball is not as great as watching men play basketball. That is actually what they have made themselves believe. And so if you believe that, of course, when the tide changes and you actually start watching the sport and you actually enjoy it and you actually are tweeting about it, it changes the whole foundation of what you thought you knew and what you thought you understood. And that is okay. We need to lean into that. Well, wait a minute. Something is happening that I didn't realize. Wait a minute. I didn't see this happening. The problem is when you're looking at women, you're looking at them through your lens of how you think women should be and what you think women should tolerate. In reality, women are phenomenal. In reality, women don't fit the stereotypes that you think they fit in. Women are actually more than you think they are. And so let this be a lesson as you continue to watch these women's sports, as you continue to watch them hold audiences, as you continue to watch these games be really exciting. Just remember, these women are the here and now. This didn't start just because of these women. Women have been doing this and on the rise for a while now. It's just time that people finally start to see it. And I just want to make this comment because I think it matters. When Kobe died, R.I.P. Kobe, one of the things that I vaguely remember, like I can't remember all the context and how it happened, was one of his last pictures, he was wearing the orange hoodie that signifies the WNBA. And that picture almost became something that symbolized That's sad saying that. That symbolized who Kobe was and how he felt about women's sports. And then what happened is people started talking about him being a girl dad, and people started talking about him saying, I want to have all girls. Like, I want to have all girls. Girls are amazing. Like, girls can do whatever. And remember, there was an interview that started to resurface with him saying that Gigi was like, you don't need girls. You got me. Like, I mean, you don't need guys. You don't need to have a boy. You got me. Like, I can do whatever you need to do. I can carry that legacy. And so what happened, I feel like, is when Kobe passed, that orange hoodie came. This is hard for me to talk about. I didn't realize it was going to be hard for me to talk about him like this. But when that orange hoodie picture came out, that became a staple. And then girl dad started trending. And I think what was happening, this is 2020, I think what has happened since 2020 is I feel like you've slowly kind of seen women step into spaces and women start to get more attention and women starting to do more amazing things that a lot of people never saw coming. Last year's women's finals for the WNBA, people loved it. People were watching it. The numbers are increasing. Last year for the NCAA finals, LSU and Iowa, people loved that. They were tuning in. Then you transition and you add in volleyball. Volleyball is another sport that's been on the rise. This year, Texas volleyball, hook 'em, defeated Nebraska on ABC. Millions of people tuned in to watch that. And so women's sports are going to continue to evolve. They're going to continue to grow as long as these networks continue to give these women spaces, because that is the thing. And when you talk about how systems and institutions play a role in things, if you give women the spotlight, if you market women, if you give them opportunities, it will work for you. You just have to take the time and you have to give opportunities. Think about what Dana White said, if you're a UFC fan, when Ronda Rousey started, fighting in the UFC. Dana White was like, I didn't think women could do this. I didn't think women could do this. I didn't think people would want to watch women. I didn't see it. It was going to take a special kind of woman. In walks Ronda Rousey, and she started something in the UFC that Dana White couldn't even fathom. He couldn't even imagine. And that, I just want to say, yes, it does frustrate me that people put women in boxes. Yes, it does frustrate me that people don't understand what women can do. Yes, it does frustrate me that we try to tell women how they should be. However, I am also okay realizing that we all have things that we have to manage our own expectations on. We all have those things. So now is the time to start looking at your expectations of women and women's sports and all the things that you think they can't do, all the ways that you think they're lacking, all of the things that you have played in your mind that you think are true about women. Question those assumptions. Question them, because they might not be true. And if you would allow yourself to take your guard down and to look at what's happening and just to look at these women as competitors in a sport, it will change your views, because women are not who you think they are. Women are not these like gentle people that are so emotional that we can't compete. We can't be, we're not that. We can hold our own, and we're witnessing that and we're watching that. And so don't think that for a second that this is not going to continue to evolve. Do not think for a second that all of these women that are currently playing are not inspiring the next generation of women, that are not inspiring high school students right now that are watching these women, that are not women that are in college that are not watching these women that are in the WNBA that are thinking like, okay, what can I do? Women that play tennis, that are not looking at this and going, okay, let me find my lane, because women can do more than you think they can do. So if we could stop limiting what we think they could do and give them opportunities and give them platforms and give them the opportunity to shine, I think we will see that they can do more than society has conditioned you to think that they can do. So just give them a chance. What do you have to lose? And I'm going to end with this. Women being successful, women getting attention, women having the news be focused on them right now does not diminish what men are doing in this world either. So it's not a competition. We can both coexist in this space. We just have to allow it to happen and have to realize that we can share, and one doesn't take away from the other. One can uplift the other. We can transition this up into great things. We can transition this into the NBA playoffs, because that is how this should work. We should all be cheering for each other. We should all be rooting for each other. One thing being successful does not diminish what other people have going on. The sooner we can realize that, the sooner I feel like we can work together and start making great impact on the things that are happening in the world. So that is just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comments.